kindly subscribe. There is a subscribe button. Kindly subscribe, and you have to press the bell button. All the notifications you are going to receive. See here. So game programming. It is very interesting subject. Most of the people are very much interested to do the game programming. So if you are very much interested and comfortable in the programming, if you have good coding skills, so definitely this game programming is it is the right job for you. But in the game programming there should be multidisciplinary skills required, not only the programming skills. If you are a game developer, so definitely the multiple things you should know. So in addition to the programming skills, if you are in the domain of the game development, so you should know the animation related things, the computer graphics related things, right? Audio and video things. So everything you are in a position to know how to apply these things. So definitely it is the right job for you, game programming. So before going to in detail in the game programming, so first you should know what is game programming. So what is game programming basically? So it is actually the subset of the game development, right? So game development, within the game development, the game programming part will come. As a developer, as a game developer, so it is not in the single phase. You have to complete all the different phases, right? If you are going to design a game, if you are going to implement, so you need to follow the different steps. We are going to discuss now all the detailed steps. So first of all, you should remember the game programming is a subset of the game development, is a software development of all the video games. So basically it is a software development. You are going to develop one software, the game programming, right? So game programming requires substantial skills in software engineering. You already know what is software engineering. So most of the things you should know. Software engineering, you have to in the software engineering different phases are there. So you are going to collect the data and you are going to check if the data is correct or not. After that you are going to design, and after that you are going to develop it. So finally you are going to send that particular thing into the testing. So similarly here the game programming also similar fashion, you have to do all the things. And most probably here the game programming, so the computer programming is very important, and in a specific language, which language you are comfortable based on that. So actually the different companies are developing this game programming. So what type of platform they are using, what is the requirement, what are the available platform, everything you need to see before going to take the right decisions. But in the complete entire all phases, the programming phase is very important. This programming phase comes under the production phase. Actually this game development process is consists of three different phases. The first phase is the pre-production, another one is the production phase, third is the post-production phase. We are going to see in detail. So before going to in detail, we should know what are the different areas. So you should be thorough before going to start this game programming. The simulation is very important. You should know all the simulation related things. Computer graphics. So it is very much important because all the visual effects is depending on this computer graphics only. Because in the computer graphics previously used mostly in the 2D graphics. But nowadays the 3D graphics is so popular. So 3D graphics related all the knowledge you should have. Then only you can apply all these things in the game programming, game development, right? The physics also somewhere it is required here in the game programming. We are going to discuss in detail. And audio and input, what type of input you are giving based on the different game programming you are doing, right? If you are going to shoot the enemies, so that time what type of input you are going to choose. So based on your input key, so definitely that will affect your game, right? The fraction of seconds, if you are pressing the different input, you are giving the different other inputs. So what is the expected input if you are not giving? So definitely you are not going to win that particular game. So input also very important here. And for massive multiplayer online games, So some more knowledge also required additional. In addition to these things, you should know the network programming and database programming required here. So these two things are very much helpful. And next is I'm going to explain the different phases, development pages. We are just now I discussed the this game production. Game production basically the process, game development process is divided into three steps, three stages you may call it is pre-production, production and post-production. These are very important. And the specific steps of each stage may vary from game gen to gen and also from studio to studio. That is not exactly fixed. Pre-production you have to do only these many steps, not like that. Production you have to do only these many steps. There is no specific steps. We are not sure how many steps you are going to do. That depending on your how you are going to develop, what type of game you are choosing, what is the genre. So genre we are going to discuss what is the game genre, and based on this game genre you are going to decide within how many steps you are going to finish that particular stage. Just see here. In the just I am explaining the pre-production. So just see game genre I am discussed. The game genre is basically it is not depending on the visual effects. Basically it is what type of interactions you are doing, what type of game it is. For example, it may be the role play game, otherwise it may be adventure game, or otherwise it may be some of the fighter game, right? Otherwise any online different online games. So any type of game, that is depending on what type of genre it is, what type of interaction you are doing. So based on that you have to choose the different steps. And just now I explained the pre-production phase and production and post-production phase. These three phases are very important. So in this pre-production is the initial phase. So you are not going directly to the production phase. Before going to the production phase, you need to design it properly. First you have to prepare some design document. So based on the design document, what are the what you written exactly. So based on that you are passing into the production phase. So before going to send the document to the production phase, you need to you have to write the things what exactly you are going to implement. So basically the game design document is very important. It is a blueprint from the which game you are going to build. So if anybody will see this game design document, so they can understand what type of game you are planning, what exactly the output you are going to expect. So everything you are in a position to decide based on this particular document. This particular pre-production document is very important and very essential. So based on your document, the programmer can decide what type of language he is going to choose, how many number of lines he is going to complete, and what are the animation things required. So everything you are going to write, what are the visual effects you are going to apply. So everything the game programmer can decide based on your document. So sometimes there is a limitation in the programming. So that particular time game document, this particular the game design document also, there is a possibility you need to change it according to that particular programmer limitations. If certain language you are not in a position to apply what exactly you prepared at the design document, so definitely you need to change that particular design document. And here you in the pre-production phase, you are in a position to sketch the game characters, storylines, or creating storyboards. Everything comes under the pre-productions. Next we are going to see the production. Production is one of the important phase. So if everything is completely, the output is depending on the production stage. Just simply the design phase you are giving that particular blueprint, what type of game you are going to design. Just you are giving the instructions and you are preparing some manual to decide what type of game and what are the things is required, but actual implementation is in the production stage only. In the game program, what we are talking the game programming, so that is the important and the backbone of this particular production stage. So as a programmer, you always you are keep on enhance your code, and you are always keep on update your code based on the limitations, based on the design requirement, right? If possible you need to add some of the things, if possible you need to add some of the things or remove some of the things. So definitely it is the your in the production stage is you are under the supervision of the producers the producer can take this particular design document. He is giving the instruction for the implementation part, right? And the output of the production stage is a game program. So whatever the output you are getting from the production stage is a game program. And here you need to apply some of the gaming assets. The assets may be 3D models, images and animation. So in the design phase, nothing you are doing, only you are preparing some document, yeah, just like the blueprint. But in the production stage only you need to do a lot. Many of the functionalities you have to do, many of the coding part, it will there. Most of the animations you are going to apply, and most of the 3D models you are going to apply. Different images you are going to take it out. So overall, the production stage is the backbone of your game programming. So the game programmer role is very essential, very crucial here. If you are doing any mistake here, definitely that will affect in your game programming. So that you need to take care all the necessary steps so that you can give the good output from the production stage. If you are giving the output as a game program, so directly you are not going to use it. So what you are going to do, you have to do the post production phase. So this is the final stage post production. So here you need to test it. Most of the different testers they are going to test in the different way. So maybe they are going to identify some of the bugs if anything is going to come. So iteratively they are going to perform these testings and checking. So finally they are going to get the final version. In the final version, all the bugs are going to resolve. Then only you are taking it as a final version and you are going to send to the market. So marketing people can sell your game. So based on that you are going to get some of the income. So this is the way here. So the pre-production and the production post-productions are the three different phases are there in the game development. So all the three phases you need to understand before going to develop any game. See here, this is the diagrammatical representation of the game design. So game development processes, it consists of the these are the three different phases just now we discussed. So basically it is the concept development starting. Actually this is the pre-production is the trial based. Nobody knows what will happen, right? What you are doing, just you are going to trial, you are going to do some of the experiment. It means you are going to give the design document. The design document you are writing, you are preparing, that is not finalized every time it is going to update. So based on the requirement, based on the limitation, based on the feedback of the programmer, so everything you are going to change here. So here who is going to involve in the pre-production phase? Game designers, subject matter experts, instructional designers. So all these are involved in the pre-production phase. So whatever the output from the pre-production you are sending to the production phase. So in the production phase is the important the key persons here: artists, programmers or technical directors. So everything the programmer, the director is going to give the instruction to the programmer. Yes, I am expecting this much. So you need to change the things. So based on the limitations of the program, so as a programmer he can do the changes, and finally he is generating that output of this particular production phase is sending to the testing. So this you are calling post production. Here the different testers are there, the beta testers and educational testers, the different testers, they are going to take care. Finally everything is fine, final version is generated, then simply you are going to deploy it. Everybody whoever required the game, so they can sell it. So sales and marketing phase will come in the last. So successful generation of this final version of the game. So this is about this game development process. So here coming to the tools, what type of tool is required? Very important it is, because everybody is so crazy to develop, but what are the supporting tools here? How you are going to develop any specific tools required? So definitely, so it is like a software. You are going to develop a game is nothing but it's like a software development, right? So there is some source code and you are going to generate into the executable code. Definitely there should be some IDEs you are going to use, right? So IDEs, with the help of the IDEs you are going to write the code. It is possible you can use any different type of text editors also. So you have to write the code according to that particular requirement of your game, right? Is it possible some custom tools also you can use? So either you may use the custom tools or you are specified any tools, existed tools. So ultimately you are going to write some of the source code and you are going to generate the executable code. And what are the different languages are required here if you are going to develop any game? So people are very much crazy about I am going to develop a game. right? So what are the language you are proficient? You first you have to decide what is the language is there, what is the language you are proficient, and how exactly you are going to implement. So if you are comfortable with the C or C++, Java, a C sharp, or Python language, a JavaScript, Lisp. So based on that particular language limitation, you can design a game. You can develop a game. So if you know the C, so what are the in the C language? So as for the features, it is the portable language. Different APIs are supporting, right? So you can use the C language. So C++ also you can use, and the Java also you can use. So you can choose any of the language. That is not a problem here. But what type of game you are going to develop, that is a matter. If the game, if your effective game you are going to develop, there should be some good features also required in the language side also. So always you need to check what type of game you are going to generate, what are the game you are going to develop. So accordingly you have to choose that particular different languages. These languages are not limited. I'm not telling only these languages you are going to use, but as for the current scenario, all these languages are useful. As for your comfortable, which language you are comfortable, you can choose any of the language. And what is the APIs and libraries? APIs are very important here. Application programming interface and libraries are very important, because these APIs and libraries are so much helpful whenever you are going to develop any game, right? Here the different graphics you are going to use. So definitely the graphic libraries you are going to use, graphic related APIs also you are going to use. Some of the APIs for the AI, artificial intelligence, because nowadays artificial intelligence is so popular. So most of the different applications you are going to use the AI. So example here, pathfinding. So if you are going to shoot any of the particular enemy in your game, online game, so definitely there should be a path required, how exactly you are going to reach to that particular enemy, and how exactly you are going to securely you are going to reach. So everything is defined from the AI, artificial intelligence concepts. So APIs and libraries you are going to use here. So just you have to see the graphic library, graphic APIs, 2D and 3D APIs. Here different APIs are there. For example, the popular Android platform you are using, that is Ulcon APIs. It is so popular because most of the 80% of the people are using the Android. So in the Android, if you are going to develop any of the game, so if you are going to run any of the game, so this particular API is very much important. So I am going to list out all these graphic API uses according to the operating systems. For example, if you are going with the Windows 10, Vulkan is so popular, and DirectX, this is a Microsoft product. It is a good product. Most of the features are there. Mac operating system and Linux, Android. In Android, see here all these SSS here. All the most of the in the market, 80% of the people are using the Android. So that's why there should be a lot of features should required in your game. So then only the people they are going to use in the Android operating system. So these are the different operating systems. These are the different APIs. So different APIs are you are going to use here. So what is the game structure? The central component of any game, there should be some programming standpoint should require, that you are calling as a game loop. So the game loop, it allows the game to run smoothly, right? This is the basic pseudo code for the game loop. Game loop is nothing but what are the things you are going to frequently are going to use, what are the actions you are going to do in this particular game loop. You are going to check the user input, and you are going to run the AI of any of the things you are going to use in the AI. So you are going to run that particular AI features, and you are going to move the enemies. So wherever the enemies is, you are going to check it out, that enemies you are going to identify properly. If any collisions are possible in the game, you are going to resolve it. There is a requirement of the graphics, you have to apply the graphics, and wherever the sound is required, you have to give the sounds. For example, 2 to 3 persons are targeting one enemy. So you are going to use some of the different sounds for the indication to this particular persons who is involving in your game. So like that, you need to check all this particular game loop. So once you are completing the loop, every time you are going to follow all these steps in particular game up to getting the particular hitting of that particular person or winning the game. So this is the game structure. So this is only I given the basic input for the game programming. This is not complete. What exactly the game programming, only I try to convince you this particular direction the game programmers have to work. These are the basic things is required as a game programmer. These are the different multiple skills also required. Multiple operating systems you are going to use. What are the APIs required, right? So everything we are going to see. So in detailed discussion we are going to see what is game programming and what are the different pages. So basically the game programming, you should know the graphics is very important. You are comfortable in the computer graphics, that too in the 3D graphics, not the 2D, because nowadays the 3D graphics is so popular, so much visual effects, so much animations you are going to apply. So 3D graphics you have to see, that is one part. And another one is in the game design, the programming part also very important. You are so much comfortable in the any specific language, you should focus on that particular language, right? Sound animation related things you need to check, right? And the physics is the one of the part you can apply somewhere. We are going to discuss in detail. So like that different skills you need to apply as a game programmer. You should have the different skills. Okay, thank you for attending this session. Kindly subscribe my channel.